Okay guys, welcome back. So in this video I'll be talking about the concept of division of polynomials, right? So actually division, the polynomials can be divided using many concepts. So the most appropriate and the most easy, right? Actually the most easiest and most appropriate and the most used concept of dividing polynomials is the long division. Now you know that if you have some term here like this, if you have say 34 divided by 5, right? 34 divided by 5, what you do is that first of all you find the the function or the easiest common multiple of 5 that is closest or the closest to 34. So you can say that the closest multiple that is a multiple close to 34, that is a multiple of 5, is 30. So what you do is that you can say this is equal to 5 times 6. So because 5 times 6 is 30, so 5 times 6 is 30 and the remainder is 4. So now this is a simple concept. Now you can do even with this with the calculator or any other equipment that you will be using to solve this, but I don't actually recommend that, right? Because most of the things you have to do manually, since you are expected to do in this exams and other assignments. You have to do this manually using the basic concepts of algebra. So first of all you need to understand what's going on here. So you can say that this is equal to, so because the 30 is the most actually the common actually the closest multiple of 5 that is close to 34. You can say 30 is equal to 5 times 6. 30 is equal to 5 times 6 and you remain a 4, right? You remain 4. So you can rewrite 34 as 5 times 6 plus 4, right? 5 times 6 plus 4. So what actually you did here when dividing 34 by 5 is that you found the multiple of 5 that is closest to 34 and you found the multiple divided by 5 and you put it under this, right, in this position, and you say that this 5 times 6 is 30. So 30 is the closest multiple of 5 close to 34. So 34 minus 30 is 4. So 4 is further indivisible by 5 to get an integer here. So you said that 34 is equal to 5 times 6 plus 4. Now that actually when you are doing this, you actually do you call special terms to mention about these positions. So if you are given some long division process like this, right, the term that is to be divided is called the dividend. So this is called the dividend, right? Dividend. And the term that you are dividing this term, right? So this is dividend, and the term that you are dividing. Now, for example, in the case of 34 and 5, 34 is the dividend. So that is the term you know. 34 by 5 is also, you can write this one as 34 by 5, right? So you get 6 and the remainder is 4. Now we'll go to the concept of remainders in another video, in the concept of remainder theorem. So those are also about all these are the concepts of functions. So I'll go to the remainder theorem in another video. So 34 divided by 5 is 6. So the numerator here is the term that is you are dividing, and 5 is the term that you actually divide this term. So 34 is the victim, 5 is actually the donor, right, or who is attacking this. Consider like that. So 34 is the term that goes here, and that's called the dividend of that function. And 5 is the term that you are dividing 34 off. So that 5 is called the divisor because it divides It divides 34 excuse me, 34 into 5 parts. So that's called the divisor. And the function that comes here is the value that is closest. Now we have to get some value here that is closest, the multiple of the divisor that is closest to this dividend, and to get that you multiply this divisor by another integer here. And in the case of actually algebraic or polynomials, division of polynomials, sometimes you may get fractions also here or decimals, but in the most common case of general arithmetic, what you do is you'll get an integer here, either a negative integer or a positive integer here. So that integer multiplied by this divisor gets a term that is the closest multiple of this divisor to the dividend. So that term is called the quotient. And the remainder of the term is called normally the general remainder, right? Remainder. So in the case of 34 and 5, what you get here is that 34 is the dividend, 5 is the divisor. So when you divide 34 by 5, first of all you get you are going to get the closest multiple, that's the multiple of 5 closest to 34. So that will be 6. So 6 is the quotient, and 4 which remains after dividing, because 4 cannot be divided by 5 to get a whole number or an integer. So 4 is the remainder. So in this case 5 is the divisor, 34 is the dividend, 6 is the quotient, and 4 is the remainder. So as I mentioned here 34 is equal to 5 times 6 plus 4. So let's arrange this. So 34, since this is called the dividend, and 5 called the divisor, 6 called the quotient, and 4 called the remainder, you can derive the special relationship of these terms. So you can say that the divisor of any function is equal to, sometimes you put the identical sign here, but for most of these videos and the assignments you will get is the equal mark. So I'll also use the equal mark here, is equal to divisor, dividend, right? So this is dividend is equal to divisor times the quotient whole thing plus the remainder, right? Divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. So in this case, now you know 34 is equal to 5 times 6 plus 4. So 34 is the dividend, so that goes here, the dividend, and 5 is the divisor, so that goes here, and 6 is the quotient, that goes here, and 4 is the remainder, and that goes here. So you can say dividend is equal to divisor times quotient plus the remainder. So this is popularly called the division algorithm for polynomials. So this is an extremely important term when you are thinking of polynomials and the concepts of function and algebra, because this will be used in many occasions in algebra. So this is called the division algorithm for polynomials. So this is called the division algorithm for polynomials. So let's take a simple example.